camping. It has a dark side, but don't worry, your privilege probably shielded you from it. So the last time we came to you, we talked about the truth will make you free. And today we're going to bring some more of that truth. We are in Hayes Tabernacle of Praise, coming from Hayes chapter 3. You got it. Verse number 1. So let's stop pretending about everything. The great outdoors isn't free anymore unless you've got money, time, and breathing room to enjoy it. Gear, it costs money. Gas costs a whole lot of money. Even trees now come with fees. Meanwhile, politicians are out here. They are slicing budgets, shattering parks, auctioning public space like it's a yard sale for the wealthy. They slap a smile on disaster too. Nature belongs to everybody. Sure, if you can afford the entry ticket to this particular amusement park. But here is where it gets real. We're going to call it the blame game. I'm a libertarian black dude. Gotcha? And these Democrat-run cities like New York, Baltimore, Atlanta are pointing fingers at Republican federal government like it's the only boogeyman in the room. Fine. You know what? You're right. DC deserves every heat that you give them. But what are you doing for your people that you govern? So forgive me, I'm trying to set this thing up like Baptist folks like to hear it. So my question then becomes this: where are the funded parks? Let's ask some real questions. Where are the safe public trails? Come on, Baltimore. You know I'm talking about you. Where's the investment in recreation centers, local access programs, and all of these family spaces that these people in these government offices tote having? Okay, and here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. You ready for this? It's black folks taking the hit. They're taking the hardest hit in these cities. Let's just tell it like it is. And I know I'm right because white suburban communities are not sitting up at night wondering if they can afford a weekend in the outdoors. See, they already have parks, green spaces, safe areas built into their taxes that they pay, and neighborhoods. No campaign speech required. Brandon Scott, listen up. Instead of making the outdoors accessible for the people that you claim to represent, city leaders, what they do is they grab the low-hanging fruit and they point to the federal government for rescue and deflect their responsibility like it's a professional sport, because blaming Washington, D.C. is easy. Doing the work, the work at home is hard, and being held accountable for your failures, almost impossible. Meanwhile, everyday citizens, especially in black and minority communities, get priced out, pushed out, and told, go enjoy nature that was never made accessible to them in the first place. The wilderness did not change. The policies and politics did. And the people who need access the most are the ones locked out by leaders who should have been fighting for them from the start. Hanging with the Hazes starts now. Now, because we are being honest, okay, a lot of politicians and power brokers, camping to them has a look, okay? And black folk don't fit that brochure. And instead of telling the God-honest truth about where segregation really comes from, the crooked politician running these cities is going to point the finger outward rather than looking at themselves who created the problem. See, this is what these jokers do. They blame white suburban America for every barrier, every divide, every locked gate, while the same so-called black saviors that look like me and you, these officials will not lift a finger for the people that look like them right under their authority. See, it's easier to cry the white man is keeping folks out than to admit you crooked rascal, you are the one blocking access, underfunding parks, closing programs, and starving the very same people that look like you in those communities of opportunities to enjoy this vast outdoors. Meanwhile, folks with privilege, y'all know who I'm talking about, they stroll into nature like they own it, because for them, the outdoors is a playground, not a barrier, not a threat, not a battlefield. And it just so happens that the money for their campaigns come from the very same white privileged America that can afford to get their agenda pushed. I have no problem with that. Money talks. You know what Crazy Keon tell you. And everybody got to play the game at some point. But to lie and say that white America is keeping urban black communities out, it's a lie, and it's a doggone shame. And the worst part is that black, Hispanic, and Asian communities actually have the unmitigated goal to believe this lie. And then they pass it down, teaching others, well, we are not welcome. While the truth is obvious, politicians don't want you seeing better, don't want you reaching higher. They want you comfortable with the crumbs that they hand out in exchange for a vote that you give them. See, remember we talked about the crumb effect? I'm going to bring that thing right back. See, because here's how it works. I give you a little bit so that you stay comfortable. And you hand me a vote every few years. And we never talk about the life that you could have had. See, that right here is exactly what I'm talking about. And y'all might hate me for saying this, but you'll never say that Crazy Keon didn't kick it real to you. See, because as much as the city wants to put halos on certain names, Elijah Cummings, as beloved as he was one of the worst offenders of this practice. Look at these neighborhoods that he represented for decades. Look, the proof ain't in a speech. It's in the blocks in Baltimore that never changed. The same boarded up houses, the same corner stores, the same people that he allowed to survive on crumbs and being told they should be grateful for it. You doggone right. I'm pissed off. And I'm black and proud. The message was loud and clear. You chose not to hear it. Don't work, I'll help you. Don't dream, I'll provide you with something small. But when election time comes, make sure you show up and check that box, because I gave you that little bit that you should be grateful for. Votes in exchange for crumbs, dependency dressed up as care, handouts instead of opportunity, control. That's what this thing is about. It's disguised as compassion. And here is the part that burns me to my core. Nobody ever cared whether you saw anything outside of Baltimore. My black people, nobody pushed you to explore the beauty in your own backyard. Nobody said you live 50 minutes from a mountain with fresh air, hiking, clean streams, and some of the best camping on the entire East Coast. Because the moment that you step outside of the boundaries that they draw for you, the moment you see something bigger, the moment that you experience something greater, breathe something cleaner, taste something freer, those crumbs don't look so filling anymore when you get that and you start asking the question that they do not want you to ask and they don't want to answer. Great God from Zion, I'm telling you, Black America, white America, everybody in America, wake up! It ain't all a Republican Washington's fault. It's grassroots. It's systematic poverty from your own community and your own politicians keeping you out of this outdoor experience. And while we're on the truth train, let's get one thing straight. Not all land is meant to be turned into a moneymaker. Take the tale of indigenous activists right now trying to protect their ancestral lands from being turned into new campsites. They weren't just standing up for the trees. They were standing up for their history, their culture, and their rights. And what did they face? Resistance from tourist authorities from the same system that pats itself on the back. Yep. For protecting the outdoors. If they want to let people camp on their land, that's their choice, not some bureaucrat's choice. And let's just be honest, all of our indigenous brothers and sisters are they seeing any of the money from these new things, these new campgrounds? No, they ain't seeing a dime. One of my live listeners said, I'm spitting hellfire, and you doggone right I am, because now we're going to talk about the so-called public lands that are already designated for the people, okay? Places that are supposed to be open, safe, and accessible, but aren't maintained the way they should be, okay? Now, trail signs that mislead hikers and have them lost, paths that are overgrown or blocked, maps that send people in circles. Consider the hikers who got lost in the woods because somebody somewhere decided that good enough was enough. It could have been avoided with some proper planning, funding, and resources, but nah, that would have cost a little effort, a little money, and maybe some accountability, which you already know they ain't got. Meanwhile, officials are patting themselves on the back for preserving the outdoors while people are literally wandering blind in the forest, paying the price for their lack of attention and action. This is not nature punishing people. This is neglect from our public officials dressed up as stewardship. Politicians will also hit you with lie number 2. We're protecting the environment, reducing pollution, and preserving wildlife. That is a lie, because those issues don't affect everybody equally. See what I'm saying? Communities near popular camping spots, poor, black, brown, marginalized, bear the brunt of this. Dirty air, polluted water, loss of space they actually depend on, while privileged campers stroll in, Instagram in hand, with zero accountability. It's a lie. And finally, the takeaway. Camping, like any other activity, comes with challenges and consequences. But the bigger truth is about access, privilege, and accountability. It's on us to see the system for what it is, to recognize who has been blocked from the outdoors and who's been handed crumbs instead of opportunity. It is on us to respect the land and fight for equality in the spaces that are supposed to belong to everybody. And most importantly, it is on us to be aware of the privilege we have, the barriers other folks face, the choices we make that either perpetuate the cycle or break it down. Camping can be beautiful, yes, but the lessons that it teaches, those are the ones that do not come in a brochure. Now, I want to hear from you. Did you have a story about trying to get outside and hitting walls that you did not expect? A comment, a question, or even a personal experience or challenge what I just said? Drop it in the comments right there. Let's get real about access, privilege, and what really takes the experience to experience the outdoors. Because this conversation isn't just mine, it's ours. Speak up. Krazy Keon is listening. It's the outdoors, because this conversation isn't just mine, it's ours. Speak up. Krazy Keon is listening.